This right here, my audience. 3, 4, 5 people. Alright, today I'll be talking about concussions. The purpose of my speech is to allow my audience to have a better understanding of the dangers, preventive rules, and equipment for the players to wear to help lower the chances of concussions in football players. Alright, so last year there were about 281 reported concussions this season in the NFL, according to USA Today's article, NFL's reported concussions at a 6-year high in 2017. The NFL knows that head injuries and concussions are a problem in the game, and the NFL is making steps to try to go forward and making the game safer for the players to play in. Today I'll be talking about the symptoms of a concussion on a player, the rule changes the NFL is making to help the game safer, and the equipment renovations and legalizations that are in an effort to make the game safer for players. I've been playing the game of football for as long as I can remember, and since I was a kid, and I've always loved the game of football. Today, I would like to share how the NFL is answering the problems related with head-related injuries. I would like to begin with some symptoms and dangers of a concussion. Some symptoms of a concussion can be headache, dizziness, nausea, temporary loss of consciousness, and vomiting. Other symptoms may be dilated pupils, ringing, and reading areas as well, according to the Mayo Clinic. There are many symptoms, one is not likely to attain all symptoms at once, and the severity of these symptoms is different with the severity of each concussion. No one concussion is the same. Athletes who have shown these symptoms of a concussion should not go back to the sport without the consent of a medical doctor, and if they do and the symptoms reoccur, they should not keep playing without medical advice. Now that you know a little about the symptoms of a concussion, I can explain some of the changes the NFL is trying to make the game. Safer. The NFL is now allowing the broadening of the penalty that penalizes opponents to hit head-to-head during the games of any hits in any situation. According to NFL.com's article, NFL expands the helmet hit rule, working on the targeting rule. With this being said, the individual's team whose player initiates the hit with the crown of his helmet onto any other player will be penalized 15 yards. And after the second hit of the targeting penalty, the player may be ejected. And according to how severe the first hit is, they can be ejected as well. Also, the league is thinking about working on the targeting rule, which is already applied into the NCAA. This rule can lead to the disqualification of a player if the blow is given to harm intentionally or is given to the player with the crown of the helmet down. The NFL has made 49 rule changes since 2002 to try to make the sport safer for all athletes. These rule changes are made in hope to protect the players and help them with good practice habits and methods, and to also instruct players and personnel on concussion protocols, according to NFL.com. Since you now know some of the rule changes that have been made to the NFL, I would now like to explain some of the betterments of equipment of football that help decrease the concussion rates. As you consume with the game of football, there comes many injuries and hard hits. But with the development of better helmets and shoulder pads all around the world, concussions and injuries become less normal. It has been shown that the improvement of the old leatherhead helmet that was used back in the 1930s has turned into the brands of Rydell and Schutt helmets that are made out of hard plastic with material on the inside. The improvement of this helmet has been shown to lessen the chance of a concussion from 45 to 96%, according to a study shown by Virginia Tech, which is according to Smithsonian.com with the article, "Are Modern Football Helmets Safer Than the Old School Leather Helmets?" This information shows that the betterment of these helmets that the players wear can decrease the rate of concussions a player can have. With the consistent improvement of the helmets, what do you think the decreased rate of concussions in a year could be when the helmets become better than they already are? I now have a personal example of a friend named Benjamin Catalone III that was born and raised in Warner Robins, Georgia. From the time he was a kid, football was always his go-to sport, and it was his dream to play in the NFL. He received a scholarship to play running back at Valdosta State University, where he excelled in football and in the classroom. He received his first concussion during the spring of his freshman year, and his second during his sophomore year, and his third the following year. So that's 3 concussions. His last concussion was devastating and caused him to miss the last 5 games of his career. He saw after the NFL, even after teams' doctors suggested him to quit playing the sport he loved. And the NFL is now dealing with many lawsuits and consequences surrounding the concussions. So although the teams gave him a look, he was never handed a real chance after his concussions ended his dream of playing the sport he loved. This shows the consequences of getting a concussion and how it can ruin your life dreams forever. Now that we have discussed and explained the symptoms, rule changes, and equipment changes the NFL is using to try to lower the rate of concussions. With this being said, you should now be more familiar with the symptoms of concussions and how the NFL is trying to diminish the amount of concussions. Imagine what the sport of football would be like if it were still played like back in the day. There would be way more injuries, and tons of people will probably have brain injuries and not even know. This could influence the life of many people and show how concussions can ruin the people's dreams of playing their sport.